Welcome to our seminar, Crisis to Excellence. We're very delighted to have all of you here. So today, what is it that you can expect? You can expect a lot of learning and a lot of insights packed into this short period of time. So it's okay. I think most of you all must have gone through the case study that we have sent. Even if you have not, it's all right. It's okay. I'm sure you will still get the content that we share today. So, this seminar is not only restricted to the manufacturing industry. Anybody, you could be, you could be from a retail store to a yoga instructor or to a manufacturing company. You could be anybody and you will still find a lot of value in what you hear today. So my name is Vartika Sethi and I'm going to be your host for today. And I urge all of you to please be, present in this seminar with an open mind. And I'm sure that there'll be seeds sown for a lot of fresh perspective for you all. Now, let me go on to introduce our very own Dr. Srinivas Gondalekar, fondly known as Dr. G. So guys, Dr. G has been on operations, has been in the field of operations for over 35 years now. And it's like, he has, if you can see the screen, he has consulted in the field of lean and Kaizen in over 30 countries globally, like across the globe. So, Shrutika, could you please go to our screen? Yeah. So as you can see on our world map, there are close to 30 countries that Dr. G has consulted, and he's brought about a lot of turnaround in a lot of companies, and not only in organizations, but he's also been associated with the Wellington Institute of Management for the last 25 years now, and he's closely associated. Right now, he's the head of the Family Managed Business program over there, and okay, let's go to the next slide. Dr. G has also been an author, and he has also been written about. So right now, if you see, there's a book which is launched by one of his students, Rucha Bindu. It's called A Memoir of the Prickly Pear. A very, very gripping book, guys, like very gripping, packed in with a lot of learning in a very, very interesting manner. It's available on Amazon. So anybody who wants to really add on to your learning in the true sense must go and get this book on Kindle. And he's going to be launching this book. It's known as You Don't Have to Be Rich to Solve Problems, which talks about very simple techniques, that can be applied by anybody without investing too much money. I would also like to tell you all that it's been about half an hour that this book has been launched. So I would urge all of you all to go grab your, first copies of this book. And I'm telling you, knowing by the way Dr. G writes, it's going to be an absolute gold. Okay, now I'm going to introduce to you all something known as Dr. G's dream team, which is his handpicked, students who have been with him, been to Japan. All of them are Japan trained. They've learned the secrets that probably the world doesn't know otherwise from Japan. And they work closely with him. All of us have worked closely with him on projects with reputed companies. And we've learned a lot from him. So we have Shrutika Patil, who's also going to be a presenter tonight. She has been working closely with Dr. G for the last 4 years. She's also been a lean consultant across sectors. We don't restrict ourselves only to manufacturing or, engineering or anything. So she's consulted across from IT to, to retail to a lot of other companies. And she's also pursuing her PhD in lean, which is fantastic. And she's also a visiting faculty at the Wellington Institute of Management and NMIMS. Next, we have on the dream team is Rashmi Kamkar. So Rashmi has also been working with Dr. G, and she has had the opportunity to intern with Mattel in Thailand, which Mattel we all know is one of the, one of the best, one of the finest manufacturing companies across the globe. And she's also a mechanical engineer. She studied business design from Wellington. So that's Rashmi from you. Then we have Nehal Vora. So Nehal Vora has been had interned with Dr. G, and she had worked on a lot of projects with Dr. G. One of them being with the Tommy Hilfiger retail store. And Nehal currently is a talent development professional in one of the leading hospitality companies in Dubai. So she's placed out of Dubai. She has a lot of experience in the human resource. And you know what? She takes Dr. G's learnings of Lean and Kaizen and applies it in the corporate, in the HR. And last but not the least is me, that's Vatika Sethi. And so I have also had the opportunity of visiting Mattel in Malaysia, working with Dr. G, imbibing his style of working. And it's been about 2 years. I've started my own organization. I've started a jewelry business, again, based on Dr. G's learning of zero investment model. So, okay, guys, now this is all about Dr. G and his dream team. Now I want to, like a huge shout out to Yang Pu. This entire session and this series. Shrutika, could you go to the next slide, please? So this entire series has been powered by Yang Pu, which is a global tech company, which basically they bring in a lot of, they have been partnered with the Ivy League colleges like Harvard Business School online. So they facilitate all of these programs for Harvard, NMIMS online, and of course, the family managed business program of Bellinger as well. A lot of gratitude to Dr. Samir Karkhanis. He's really helped us put all of this together and added that, required power for our seminar.
Thank you very much.
I request all of the participants to, keep posting your questions in the Q&A section as and when we move forward. Dr. G will take on those questions. In case we miss out on something, we'll try and take it towards the end of the session. Over to you, Dr. G, now.
Thank you very much. Welcome all of you. Some of you are my clients. Thanks to Mr. John Thurman, I got to see the world and do consulting in so many places. Some of you are my students, past students. Some of you are absolute strangers. Some of you have heard of me. Thank you very much for joining this seminar. We will make it interesting. We will have a demonstration, something that nobody does in a webinar. Normally webinars are, you put a PPT on the screen and then the guy goes out talking in a monotone without moving any part of his body except the lips. No. Let's make it interesting. And as your questions come, shoot them, because some of them we'll answer during the session itself. Don't make it like questions, answers at the end and the whole stuff in the beginning. Keep asking. If you don't have questions, that's fine, because we are very clear presenters. So many times you don't have questions. So it's fine. You can just write, wonderful job you're doing. Your explanation is very clear. Okay, please enjoy the seminar. Let's, the only requirement, as Vatika put it, it's open mind. And today I have an advantage of a galaxy of my, actually all of them are my ex-students. I have a galaxy here with various facets of knowledge, so that the whole thing becomes like a diamond, cut diamond, right? Let's go. The only requirement is, the only requirement is that please keep an open mind, right? An open mind. What we are going to do today is look at things from a different perspective. That's all. The answers you will get yourself. I don't think I will be able to give you the answers to your problem, but we can give guidelines. This is an education seminar. It's not a consultant seminar. A consultant will come, study your situation and give you answers. Whereas this is education. So we give you principles, and if you are smart enough, you can apply the principles. We'll give you some concrete examples also. If there is something you have, all right, something valuable. Don't worry, it's just colored water. You have something valuable. And in today's world, with all these lockdowns and whatever else, what's happening is many people are finding everything is gone. Customers gone, the costs are rising, I have to keep paying money, and the glass which had such valuable things is become an empty glass. Should we look at it and say, oh, empty glass, what do I do? Or let's change our perspective. Let's change our perspective. We might say, this is an opportunity for me to put in something more valuable. Maybe that old stuff going away has created a new opportunity for me. If you look at it like this, then this webinar will be extremely valuable. Another way of looking at it, this is life, this is our mind, and sometimes the situation is like this. This is the mind and we are down, and then we say, oh my God, now what do I do? I'm down. All right, just change the way you're looking at it. Yes, Rajesh Rane, I saw your comment. I'm looking at it like that. That's right, very good. Yeah, we look at it like this. We are down. All that we need to do is, this is our mind and things look down, right? Give it a twist. A jabardast mode dena hai. Give it a twist. Just change the point of view. Look at it differently, and now it's up. You will see in these lockdowns, many people are crying, what do I do? No customers, costs are going on. And some people are prospering. They were not in the mask business. Everybody is not in making masks. Everybody is not making sanitizers. But many are prospering because they are seeing the opportunity which didn't exist earlier. Empty glass. And they're filling it up with some other stuff. Something hopefully more valuable. Yeah. This is the purpose of today's seminar. And with this, you can catch the point that we are trying to make and find your own answers. Right? Our students from Family Managed Business Program, we have a program like this in Wellinger. It's 11 months and it is a unique program because it's very practical. It's very practical. The day you join, you start looking at things differently. You just change your point of view. If this was your point of view, everything looking black, you change your point of view and it starts looking nicely red. And they go to the shop floor, they go to their workplace, all are not manufacturing. In fact, in Mumbai, there is very little manufacturing, but they come and they look at things different point of view and get tremendous results right from day one. We have some of those participants here in this webinar. Right? We have a couple of participants who did wonders. They are in the oil and gas business, and they did wonders in the last few weeks with all the troubles they had. Let's go. We have to look at two things. In business, running business, there are two things, fundamentally two things. One is income, money coming in, what the accountant will call as revenue, top line, right? In good companies, the top line comes from customers. There are other ways of getting also, but let's focus on the most important way, customers giving us business, right? The second part is money going out. So money coming in and money going out. What you may call as costs, or you may call as expenses. A whole business is a balance between the two. And this webinar, we're going to look at both. How to attract a customer and how to control your costs. One of the big elements of costs is something called as WIP. WIP stands for work in process, more commonly waiting in process. There is an old belief that if your factory is full of material, wow, we are doing well. If my shop trading, if my shop is full of material, wow, we made it. And full of things is considered as great. But Mr. Taiichi Ono used to call it the agricultural mentality. Meaning what? In a place like India, in the old days, monsoon only once. Even now, monsoon once should be. And in that monsoon, you have to grow enough for the whole year. So at the end of the monsoon, if your warehouse is full, you're very happy. But in business and industry, it need not be so. The essence of business and industry is flow. Customer coming in, getting processed, going out. Take a restaurant. If you're in Mumbai, you might have visited these so-called fast food restaurants called Udupi restaurants. Some of them were my students also in the family managed business program. And their specialty is you walk in, just sit down, and immediately you get a glass of water. And immediately they ask you, what do you want to eat? And you ask for the menu, the guy tells you verbally, idli, dosa, vada, this thing, and so on and so forth. And the food is prepared and immediately brought to you very fast. Nobody rushes you while eating. Take your time. There's no hurry. Yeah. But don't sit there wasting time. That is called as non-value added work. Sitting there idle. Your material sits idle. Your customer is waiting. You have collected documents, and these documents are all waiting, all right, to be processed. What's the point? What do you gain? Much better. You have flow. You take one document, process it out. Take another document, process it out. We call this as WIP. Now, first thing you must do, step one, in your industry, identify what is WIP. In real estate, WIP might be a whole lot of land which you have purchased and which is lying idle, nobody to buy it, prices are going down, what do? I don't know what is WIP in your industry. In construction, it might be half-constructed buildings. WIP. I don't know. You should know what is WIP in your industry. And my dear friend, if you don't know what it is, perhaps you should change your industry because you don't understand anything. In manufacturing, it is obvious. Piles of material. Piles of material. That is work in process or waiting in process. If you have read the case which we had sent you, the case was about a big fabric maker, one of the biggest in India. And this fabric maker had a problem. I take 60 days from cotton to finished product, or from wool to finished material, right? Wool to finished material. 90 days I take, not 60, sorry, 90 days. And the target was bring it to 60 days. They got these big name consulting companies who charged them a lot of money and could do nothing. Then they found old man, yeah. And we said, it's actually quite simple. Apply something called as Little's Law. What is Little's Law? You talk to MBAs from even IIMs or professors. Not many know Little's Law. Not many. It's a very vital law, but not so well known. I learned that its importance in Japan while I was being trained. So vital, so useful. So we used Little's Law and found a very simple way of attacking the WIP. Can you see the screen which Ms. Rashmi is showing? Screen which Rashmi is showing. It says, yeah. Would you like to read it out, Rashmi?
Sure. It says lead time is equal to WIP into production rate. So altering the production rate in any industry is really tough. So the ultimate thing we can do is define this correlation that
Actually, it's
lead time.
divided by, not multiplied by. Huh? It's lead time equal to WIP divided by production rate. Yeah. So if you reduce the WIP, your lead time will go down. And that's what we told at the company. And the company said, what does WIP have to do with lead time? And I said, sir, if you don't understand it, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Just try it out. To all my clients, I say, you may not understand what I'm saying. Look, I've got 40 years down there, all right, all over the world, different industries. I've been fortunate. You have not. So you pick up the idea from me and try it out. I have an extremely successful client here in Mumbai. All of us are servicing this client, Rashmi, Shrutika, myself, and so on. And the principle is only that we say, try it out. That's all. Try it out. So number one, identify what is WIP in your system. And by lead time, we mean from beginning to end. That means wool to fabric, beginning to end. Yeah. And now I will request Ms. Rashmi to take charge and show us, demonstrate to us what we could do in that company.
Sure.
What was the objective?
To reduce the lead time by
to
reducing WIP.
Yeah, to reduce. See, if you reduce lead time, that means from order to completion, will you attract more customers or less?
Certainly more.
You will attract more customers. Yeah, yeah, you will attract more customers. Yeah, there is a question here. Can you give examples of WIP? Look, any number of examples I give you, you will keep saying, give me more examples. You must identify what is WIP in your industry. Yeah, are you a garment trader? We worked with one of the big name companies, like Tommy Hilfiger and so on. What is WIP there? It is the garments lying on the shelf, garments lying in the back room. Yeah. If you are working for a financial services company, there is a customer who has come. I want to place an insurance. I want to buy an insurance. The form is filled up. I want an SIP. I want to make a fixed deposit. I want to take a loan. And between the request for loan and the completion of the process for loan, how much time does it take? That is lead time. And the number of documents, your documents may be in a computer, number of documents represents your WIP, waiting in process. You go to a shop, you say, I want to buy a car, right? And they say, come after 1 month. Your color and your model, you get after 1 month. What's happening for that month? You are WIP. So please take this question over to yourself rather than giving it to me. And let's proceed with how to reduce the WIP and therefore the lead time.
Yes.
Yes, Rashmi.
The correlation between lead time and WIP is generally not understood by the companies. I mean, even the biggest of the companies do not understand that, and that's what takes them down. So today we will see how reducing the WIP would help us reduce the lead time by a simple demonstration. Here we'll be taking the case of the fabric manufacturer that we shared. So I'll just share my screen. Yes. So this is the setup that we have done. This is machine A. It has an input and an output. This is the waiting in progress. We have trolleys here. These are trolleys filled with materials. So the WIP can be anything. It can be trolleys, it can be stacks of papers, it can be customers awaiting their number. Anything pertaining to your industry would be your WIP between the two processes. Similarly, we have machine B and the two inputs and outputs for it. So what happens once this material gets processed, it goes to the outbox and a new material is loaded into B. So it's a usual practice that this empty trolley from B goes to replace the new trolley instead of this old one at A. So this goes to the output. A new material that's processed from A comes to the outbox, and then this gets loaded trolley into the WIP. New trolley comes in, material goes out, new material is filled, and the material trolley again goes back for the collection of A. So this is a system that was prevalent earlier. So here we can see there are 5 trolleys, and we have now mutually decided to keep the number of trolleys restricted to only 4. Okay. And as stages progress and as you perfect this activity of reducing the WIP, you can eventually go down to maintaining only single WIP or even 0 based on how far you and your customer are placed. So now let's see how we can reduce this 5 trolleys to only 4. So now once the material goes out, a new trolley comes in. Meanwhile, we have not produced anything in A. This material goes here, and this trolley, instead of going back to A, will go to a place called as trolley graveyard. So we are keeping it away from the system. Okay. So now the next trolley would come in. Once the material goes out, new material is filled, and this trolley now, instead of going back, would again come to the trolley graveyard. This empty trolley, once it gets filled with the new material, will come to the WIP section. And as you see, we have now maintained only 4 WIPs. You see, by putting 2 trolleys in out of the system and in the trolley graveyard would make a difference. And mind you, even removal of 1 trolley from the system can reduce your lead time by 20%. And that's a huge difference that it can do. So now, like you see in the new system, there are only 4. 1 would come here, material goes out, new material would be processed. New material would be processed. And this empty trolley would act as a Kanban, and it would go back and signal the first process to add more material and then go ahead to the WIP. So this way we'll be working it out. So the main principle that we learn here is lead time can be reduced by reduction of WIP. And for that, you'll have to remove the WIP out of the system and work that out. Handing over to Shrutika ma'am.
Dr. G, your voice is on mute.
Yeah, let me take over for a moment, please.
Sure, sir.
Yes. So there are some questions which have come, and I'm some of the questions. Number 1 is WIP is what has been started but is not completed. Waiting in progress, waiting in the process, right? In a textile mill, you start processing the wool and you have not completed the finished fabric. You have got WIP. You have got waiting in process. Somebody asked a school, in a management school or in an MBA school, what is WIP? WIP is a student who has entered the college and has not passed out yet. Get it? Somebody who's entered the system, not got out. Entered but not out. That is WIP. Are you clear? Something which has entered the system should go to the customer but has not yet reached, has not yet gone out. It's as simple as that. The second question that came is lead time and WIP, are they separate? No, they are directly proportional. And that is what is not understood. Can you show that little law once again on the screen, please? Yeah, it says that if you want, write it down. Write it down. It says that the lead time meaning From the moment you pick up something and till the moment you complete the job, that is lead time. Lead time is from, let's say I take this glass and I want to transfer some material into the glass. Okay, I pick up this glass, now it is WIP, and I am transferring stuff into it, still WIP, 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 WIP. Now it is a finished product. I can send it out. It's not so difficult. Don't confuse yourself. Just by asking questions, you will not become clearer. Asking questions to me, ask to yourself. You know, I was in Japan undergoing training, and Professor Tsuda, he was my trainer. And at one stage, I went and asked him a difficulty. He looked at me. I was working in Godrej Soaps, quite successful. Company had sent me to Japan, doing very well. Yeah. And then I asked him a difficulty and about some case study that we were doing. What does a good professor do? Answer the case, right? What does a good webinarist or speaker do? Answer your questions. And so we went to him and we asked, and I was 37 years old. I was already a plant manager in the company. It's not that I was just a young kid out of school. And the Professor Tsuda, he says, don't ask me, go ask the process. I said, what? He said, you go back to India, you'll have a lot of questions. Who will answer them for you? You think I'm going to follow you to your country to answer your questions? And even if I follow you, you cannot afford my charges. So go ask the process. The process is giving answers, but you are not listening. You're not paying attention. You're not looking. You better start looking in a more clear way. Yeah, start looking. Yes. And then I went back to my seat and it struck me. Suppose I can ask the process. At that time, I didn't know how. Suppose I can ask the process. Then I can go to any industry, anywhere in the world. I don't know. I will ask the process, get the answer, give it to the management, charge my fee. I sat in my seat mentally. I had undergone a whole shift mentally. Yeah. From this, I had undergone this. It took a few seconds, not even one full minute. And I knew that I could be a consultant. Then, of course, there was a question how to ask the process. Took about 2 years to learn that. And then I quit Godrej. And last 25 years, I'm still consulting. No end in sight till God says, come on, move upstairs. Yeah. So ask the questions to yourself. You'll become more intelligent. If I answer the questions, I don't mind doing it. I will become more intelligent. Please be aware of this. So I'll say again, if there is any confusion, okay, work in process is anything that is started but not completed. That is work in process, right? Work in process is related to the lead time. And the law is that lead time is equal to work in process divided by the production rate. Suppose you are making 100 pieces per day and you have 200 in stock which has started but not completed. Then for these 100 to be completed, you have to wait till those 200 are completed, which means that you have to wait for 2 days. If you have 300 in stock, you have to wait for 3 days. If you have to have 400 in stock, you have to wait for 4 days. Yeah, there is a direct relationship. Just learn this, think about it, go and observe. You'll see it is beautiful. The question is, it is applicable for custom built products? Yes, more so for custom built products because lead time is very important. Custom built products starts when the customer places order. And then the customer wants it quickly. Customer has no time. So how to do that? The whole question is, see, focus on how, not where it is applicable. Don't put your questions on where it is applicable. Put questions on how to do it. And Rashmi has given you one answer. I don't know whether you picked it up. The answer was reduce the number of containers, reduce the number of trolleys, reduce the number of bins, reduce the space in your warehouse, match your incoming to your outgoing, match your incoming to your outgoing. Yeah? Mir Satra, he has a textile business of t-shirts, and he had a warehouse in Dadar, and he was our student in the family managed business program, became very successful. And then he said, I want to build a bigger warehouse. Where shall I build it? Shall I build it in Bhiwandi, or one in the eastern suburb, one in the western suburb, etc.? And I didn't really give him an answer. I just listened to him, smiled, and gave him the basic principle. That's all. After a few days, he came back and he said, I asked him, what happened? Where did you build the warehouse? He said, what warehouse? No warehouse. Meaning what? He said, I learned the principle you told. Inventory is a mismatch between departure and arrival. If you match them, you don't need stock in between. And he said, I managed to do that. I asked my retailers who received the material, what do you want? And informed my suppliers. He's a trader, mind you. Huh? He doesn't produce anything. I informed my suppliers, please send this mix. And the mix arrives and it's immediately dispatched. This is called cross docking. That means you don't store in between. Yeah, let it go. You get what you want. That's all. Don't get too much. Don't get excess. Yeah. Now, let's continue. We showed you one method of reducing WIP. Let me show you another method. Shrutika, will you help us, please?
Sure.
Yeah.
Let us understand the industry application of Little's Law. So when the team was consulting on organization, we were presented with a problem statement to reduce the lead time. And it was like, okay, let's reduce the inventory or the WIP, and lead time is going to be taken care of automatically. Their managers in that organization came to me and told me that, Shrutika, look, I don't understand the correlation between reducing the inventory and reducing the lead time. And further, in our organization or sector, we have to keep inventory. Otherwise, we will not be able to reach the desired output. Just requested the management to try out one simple cost-free solution. And I would really acknowledge the management for the attitude to give things a try. Any idea what was the thing that we tried out with the organization? I just share my screen. Yes, the simple cost-effective tool that we used in that organization was a whiteboard. To the production department and placed a whiteboard on the wall. One that we did was, as soon as we entered the department, we saw what was the inventory as of today in the department and displayed it on the board. So once we displayed it on the board, as you can see, we have around 1,000 units of inventory, and this department had a production rate of 100 pieces per day. So let's say if we go and start applying our Little's Law here, we had around an inventory of 1,000 pieces, and every day we could make only 100 pieces. So it was definitely going to take us around like 10 days to complete this entire work. Moving on ahead, we realized that, to produce a small output of 100 units, we are possessing inventory of around 1,000 units, which was too much. So we moved on to the second step, in which we all came together and we decided that we are not going to allow an inventory greater than 600 units. Now, this was, trust me, not an overnight process. Slowly and gradually, we reduced the inventory from 1,000 pieces to 940, 850, and so on. And once we were confident that yes, we are controlling the inventory and at the same time delivering the required output also of approximately 100 units, we moved on to the third step, which is called as standardizing. In standardizing,
Shrutika ma'am,
yeah,
sorry to interrupt. Can you please make it a full screen?
sure.
It'll be better visible.
Yeah. In the step 3, we standardized, in the sense we set up a rule that we are not going to allow anything greater than 500 units in our inventory. Now, again, if we take a look at the Little's Law, we have around of 500 pieces in our WIP and 100 is our production rate. So it is now going to take us only 5 days to complete the entire work. While we were producing this in the organization, 2 major myths of manufacturing got busted. Myth number 1, only if we have a lot of inventory, we are going to get the desired output. If you observe carefully, here we consciously reduced the inventory and still got the same desired output. Myth number 2 that was busted was, if an operator has a huge pile of inventory in front of him, he will be pressurized and he will give us a lot more in output. But sorry to say, we all have a capacity beyond which we cannot work. So if my capacity is for 100 units, even if someone places 1,000 units, 5,000 units in front of me, I cannot go beyond that capacity. So the results that we obtained with this in the organization were fabulous. Previously, a capital was invested for 1,000 pieces. And trust me, if the industry is producing something very costly, we are going to block up a huge capital. Now, after our experiment, we have a capital invested only for 500 pieces. The lead time has reduced from 10 days to nearly 5 days. And trust me, the output has remained the same. Yeah. So this method of working is called as PDCA, Plan, Do, Check, Act. We try and implement the solution in one small area. And we try and make iterations to it. If there are any problems, we look forward to solving it. And once we get success in a small area, we deploy it ahead to the entire organization. I would like Dr. G to share his views also on that.
Yeah, great. Yeah, thank you very much, Shrutika. There were some questions which I have tried to answer on chat, right? In the meantime, and we have Mr. Suraj Mehta here. He has written something interesting. I'm going to read out. I have a tailoring business. One of your students, Mr. Swapnil Desai, came to my shop and guided me on your ideas of customers' lead time and WIP. I have improved my delivery time and I can give it in just 48 hours because of these amazing ideas. Thank you very much, Professor. Yeah. See, the whole trick is don't spend time asking whether it works. Do you think we would come and tell you about it? Right? It works everywhere. The question is how to make it work. I gave you Mir Satra's example. He's not a manufacturer, pure trader who eliminated his warehouse. Today, not having inventory means cash is released, money is released, and shorter lead time means customer is happier. You have got both situations. You have got happier customer and you have got reduced cost. Your money is not locked up. And he sits very comfortably. He tells me that in his business, the retailer first asks the distributor, how much is the price? Start speaking from the price, discounts, and reductions that you will give. Right? He says, I don't give any of these because they know that my quality I will not sacrifice. And number 2, I will not sacrifice on the delivery. I will deliver as promised. So it is no big deal at all. But you have to identify. You have to think about it. You have to go and observe. Yeah. I have already answered the question, and the same questions are coming again and again. My humble request is listen with both ears. Right. There was one company where they said, what can we do? And they showed the shop floor. Nice, glistening shop floor. But the way they were moving material from one table to another, this was like small pieces, like maybe a watch or a piece of jewelry or something like that, small pieces they were. And I'd like you to show the tray. Yeah. So can you take over, please?
Sure.
So this was movement from one work table to another work table.
Yes.
Simple example. Yes. See, the reason I'm giving manufacturing examples is because they are more visible. That's all. The board which Shrutika talked about can be applied anywhere. Mr. Rajesh Sorap applied it. He was also a family managed business student. Come and join our course if you really want to learn details. एक webinar में कुछ नहीं होगा साहब. You cannot become an expert by listening to a 1 hour webinar. But join our program, and in bits and pieces, you will learn the whole gamut of things. Mr. Rajesh Sora put up a similar board like that WIP thing. He said, what is my WIP? Customers who have not paid me for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and so on and so forth. And he made a huge whiteboard, made it visual. Whose payment is to come? Which sales representative is responsible for that customer? And there is a trick. The moment things become visible, people start behaving differently. And he found that he was able to bring the receivables down. In his case, he was intelligent enough to figure out that his WIP is accounts receivable. How do I reduce that? First of all, make the information available, make it visible, and then you tell the salesperson, hey, concentrate on this one customer. Go, salute, threaten, plead, fall at his feet, do whatever required. Yeah. And persuade the person to give you stuff. And usually, if you are a good quality, timely delivery supplier, the customers will not be ready to let you go. So they'll release some cash, something or the other. Depends. You have to build relationships. Business is not about profit and money. Business is about relationships. Relationships last forever. Forever. Right. So just show us about that tray, please.
Yes. So assuming this is a tray with almost 35 compartments for keeping each small item that is produced. So this 35 becomes the WIP, that is waiting in process for the next person who is going to use this. So one piece gets done, it's kept here, second. So the 35th piece that's here, it waits for all the 34 pieces to be done. You cannot send this ahead until this is full. So once this is full, you go ahead, give it to the quality checker. He checks this out and then points out a defect. So what does that mean? Your effort that you've put for all the 35 pieces has gone waste. Your material has gone waste, your money, your time, everything that you invested in has gone waste. Rather, what if we just reduce the tray size? Have a simple tray with just 10 compartments. And once you perfect it, go for smaller. Ultimate is the single piece flow to have. So till then, make the tray size smaller. Once the piece is kept, 10 pieces are done, it goes ahead. Comes back if there's anything to be changed. So this way you have saved a lot of material, lot of time and a lot of effort to do all this rework. So this way your material would reach the customer earlier. So this is one of the fundas to reduce your lead time. reduce the tray size, reduce the WIP in between. Have a keen eye कि कहाँ क्या material है and how do I make it even better.
Pallavi Bhatt has put up a comment. She says, reduce or eliminate batch processing. Absolutely right. Yes. So can you just show those two trays like this? So you go to this company and you look at it and you say that you have got a tray with 35 pieces. Can you please cut the tray into and make it into 10 pieces? Now you get two types of companies. In one company, they sit and argue. They say, let us have a discussion. Let's have a discussion about the positives and negatives of cutting the tray. All right. And it takes months to cut a tray. In the other company, what they do is they go and just cut one tray, right? And they observe what happened. Okay, now are things better? Are things moving faster? Is that quality feedback coming quicker? And what do they find? Whatever they find is the truth. Don't waste time discussing. Try it out. And when you try it out, you will find that everything improves. And then you will start asking, do I need a tray of 10? Can I make it 5? Can I change the location of the other workstation and bring it closer? It's called cellular layout. Can I bring it closer to have single piece flow like Miss Pallavi is just mentioning? And you'll find your lead time drops drastically. All the customers are yours. I tell you one thing, if you are willing to offer the same product as your competitor, good quality of course, but earlier, other people take a long time, you are taking less time. Other people say delivery in 10 weeks, you say delivery in 6 weeks. Who will get the order? You. And you can even tell, I charge you a rupee more, because the customer is able to start using the item much earlier. So the customer's cash flow also improves. The customer will not mind giving you a little more. So you will get business, which is good business, well priced business, and you will get a lot of benefit. So the whole question is this, it's again coming down to the mindset. When I went to Japan, I found one tragic thing. There were people from different countries, okay, 22 of us from different countries. And I found the people the subject was TQM. And the people, I'm sorry to say, from South Asia, like India, Pakistan and all, they were asking, why should we do TQM? Is TQM the right thing? Or is TPM the right thing? Is Kaizen the right thing? Is Poison the right thing? What is it? Discussion, discussion, discussion. And the people from Southeast Asia were not asking why and whether this is right or that is right. They were saying, how to do it? Sir, please tell us how to do it. Madam, please tell us how to do it. And in a flash, I knew that we are really, really behind. But we don't have to be. It takes 1 minute to catch up with the world. 1 minute. Change thinking, change mindset, and say, hey, whatever this guy is saying, maybe he's talking rubbish. I don't know. Dr. G is talking rubbish. Maybe he's talking sense. Let's see. And well, instead of he's saying, don't look like this, look like this. I don't know whether it is that simple, but he's saying, go cut the tray. I'll tell you what, it doesn't cost any money to cut the tray. Let me cut one tray. I've got 20 trays. I'll cut one. Let me try it out. If it works, it's mine. If it doesn't work, throw it out. Throw it out. That fellow couldn't understand. Dr. G doesn't understand my business. But if you don't try it out, you will never know. You will never know unless you try it out. And what we are bringing to you is experience and theory. I am very unique in one respect. I'm a professor, but I'm not a professor. I'm a practitioner. I build my theory from the practice. Other people try to build practice from theory. That's not correct. The scientific method is from practice. You build the theory which matches the practice. Right? So we are telling you what works. I'll summarize it quickly again. Number one, open your mind. This is the toughest job. And once you do it, life is easy. Dr. G or no Dr. G, we have there's a lady, the Mittals. Yes. We have another guy called Shivam. These are all our students. And they have applied it in their industry. This lady and her husband, both of them own a company in the oil and gas business. They had an output. I'm just giving some numbers. Don't worry about the numbers. These are just some numbers. They had an output of 20 per day. And they were able to increase it to 36 per day without making investment. They just tried what they had learned in the classroom. They tried on a little bit. It worked. They tried some more. It worked. Tried some more. It worked. Wow. Fantastic. Who's getting the benefit? They're getting the benefit, not me. Follow? So focus on cutting the tray. Trying it out. It's easy. Remove one trolley from the system. It's easy. Put a whiteboard. It's easy. But there is a problem. People don't like simple solutions. They want something fancy. Give me an app. Give me an app which will control my inventory. Of course, you can have an app. But that's the second step. Third step. The first is do what simple, plain common sense says. In today's education in our country, they teach you a whole lot of things. They don't teach you common sense. And we, in our family managed business program, focus first and foremost on common sense. In fact, I tell the students, my job is to bring you the best, the most profound knowledge in the world and to protect you from the wrong knowledge which is floating around. There is plenty of wrong knowledge which is floating around. Yeah. And I tell you, there is no benefit in that. Think differently. If your thinking before this webinar and after this webinar is the same, then I'm sorry, but you had 1 hour of entertainment. That's all. And if there is even a little change in your thinking, I salute you. You're the most brilliant person on earth and you will go places. You will capture the whole world. The whole world is yours. Right. I think we have taken an hour on this. And would you like to go into a little bit of some more of the answers or questions or something like that? Vartika,
So,
what is your
Dr. G,
take on the whole thing? Because
yes,
you
Dr.
have
G.
receiving the questions much more than I.
So we have a few people who've raised their hands to have a word with you. I think we have some time to maybe allow one of them to talk. So I'm going to go with Mr. Selvam. Mr. Selvam, could you please get on your mic? Okay, I think he's not there. Pradeep Chhabria, your hand is raised. Would you like to say something? Okay, I think looks like we've already answered everybody's questions, Dr. G. So yeah, is someone, Mr. Selvam, would you like to say something? I don't think we can get through to him.
Anybody?
Sure.
Quick question? Or in the meanwhile, I'll just quickly go through. Somebody is saying, Parul Gosen, thank you. Fantastic business. Sorry, fantastic session. Yeah. Small batches, Ravindra Mane. Yes, correct. Absolutely. Smaller the batch, the better. How can it work in insurance and sales? Okay, your WIP is somebody who has come in who wants an insurance but hasn't yet got it. Reduce these people, process them immediately, reduce the lead time. Yeah, see if you can give across the counter, of course, with all your safeguards. Yes. Then large industries do arm twisting for MSME. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, that's right. They do arm twisting of MSME. So see how you can understand them better. See, understand what is there. It's called what the user journey. What do they do with the material that you supply, and how do they, what are their processes? Study that, and you will find how to get back to them with their arm twisting. I'll tell you one trick. You know, if you are a unique producer, you are giving superb quality, you are giving fast deliveries, they cannot arm twist you. You can get back to them. Yeah. Anil Jain, what was your question? Anil Jain Doshi. What is the question?
Sir, his question is, how can one address prices law in any industry?
Yeah, actually, I think he means
The
Little's
Little's law.
Little's law. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. In any industry, find out what is your WIP and start reducing it. We have shown you 3 methods. Cut the tray, that is cut your container, cut your order size. Yeah. Make single piece flow, reduce batching, put up visual boards, reduce the number of containers. Yeah. Then there's Pradeep Chabria who says, I'm a channel partner for Japanese manufacturer in India. My inventory is increasing every day. I don't know, it's disappeared now. It was in front of me, but it seems to have gone. Just a moment, I think it's coming back. Yeah. Customers are demanding and MOQ is quite large. In that case, how to control inventory as it is eating away my profits? Yeah, again, question, this whole business of MOQ is fundamentally 2 aspects. One is arm twisting. A second aspect is they are not able to take a changeover. Yeah, we had some people here, so many of our students who reduced the changeover time or went to their suppliers, reduced the changeover time, and showed them how they can produce smaller batches at the same economics as a big batch. It's possible. There is a technique. It's called single minute exchange of dies, and it applies everywhere. Give an example. You make kanda bhaji, onion pakoda. Okay. How do you make it? Okay. People who have not made it, they will tell you, start cutting the onion, put that besan, whatever, prepare it, then put the oil for heating. And after you put the oil for heating, what do? You wait. You lose time. You're doing what? Losing time. Yeah. And the housewife will tell you, many of these women who work in the kitchen and outside, they're brilliant at doing things very fast with very low lead time in the kitchen. So they will tell you, first put the oil for heating, right? Low flame. Now the time the oil gets hot gives you time to cut your onions and make your whatever besan and this and get it ready. Yeah, if you want jargon, it's called takt time. The oil gives you the takt time to produce your process and make your process within that time. So show people how to do it. There are techniques available. One webinar, all techniques not possible. Next webinar will show you on quality about 2 weeks from now or something like that. Yeah, on quality. How do you improve quality at zero cost? We were having this guy, Mir, I was telling you about, and I'll tell you next time about the details. But his business was successful. When it was successful, he needed more material. And the supplier said, cannot, we are working at full capacity. We cannot give you more. So he went to their shop, 21-year-old boy. What's so special? our student studying our FMB program. He knew the techniques. He went to them in Ludhiana. In Ludhiana, if you have ever been, I worked in Punjab. You have to look like this because all those people are taller than you. and and this boy talks to and he says, "Can I just observe?" And he comes up with some simple improvements which increase the output. And the owner was so happy. He said, "Beta, sirf tere liye kaam karega. I'll work only for you." Almost like that. Okay. And he got more material. So this MOQ business is a very, very important point. Very important point and a very good point. So one is capability. Capability is physics. It's not psychology, it is physics. So understand the physics. And then the second aspect of MOQ is psychology. That is negotiation. Forcing you to buy more, forcing you to hold more, and so on and so forth. But if you know these techniques in detail, you can really come in. One thing I can suggest to you, okay? The book which we showed you in the beginning, we said was launched half an hour back. The book is titled, "You Don't Have to Be Rich to Solve Problems." Meaning what? You have a problem, MOQ. You have a problem, customers' receivables are very high. You have a problem, inventory is high. You have a problem, lead time is high. You have a problem, nobody is listening to you. You don't have to throw money at the problem to solve. You have to have knowledge, profound knowledge, intelligence, and you will be able to solve the problem. You don't need to be rich to solve the problem. This book, written with Professor Tanvi Thakkar, who is also from our group, and me. So this book is a collection of real life cases that our students have done. We have protected their names and their business and so on and so forth. But there are hundreds of examples. You will find examples in manufacturing, you'll find examples in trading, construction, real estate, logistics, whatever you have, retailing, I can't think whatever else. Every industry has been covered because we have people from different industries. We always encourage a mix because when you have a mix, people have different ideas and we put those ideas together and make what works. Yeah. Ashok Bajaj is saying time and motion industry deals with all this. Yes, but you must do time and motion and eliminate the non-value adding work. The traditional approach was to do time and motion on value adding work. Change it to eliminating non-value adding work. Yes, it works. Yes, that's right. So you can buy the book right away. Go on Amazon Kindle today, buy it off, read it. Only ebook is available today because printing will take time. We have got lockdowns and whatever else and so on and so forth. So I'm very thankful to all of you. And I thank you, Anjali Vatakar, for her comment, which says, "Thank you very much. The session was very interesting and very, very nice." Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot. And I'm wondering, Vartika, whether it's a good time to close or.
Yes, sir. I think we've gone a little over time, but it was an amazing session, sir. So just to sum it up, a big reminder for all of us to start using our common sense. Number one, to keep it simple. Number two, and try it out. So.
And buy the book and join the Family Managed Business Program. Yes,
sir. And everybody, all the participants, you can check the chat. Tanvi has just, who's also the co-author of the book. She just shared the link of the book on Amazon. So please go all out there. And I'm sure once you all read the book and come back for our next session, the learning will be much better. So our next session, which is scheduled to be somewhere around third week of July, it's going to be about, the topic is called Customer Desire, where we just renamed quality as customer desire. because we like to make everything customer oriented. So we urge everybody to go ahead, read the book, enrich your knowledge and come back for the session. So thank you, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us today. We will be sharing the recording of this session with all of the participants on your emails. So, and you can always get in touch with any of us, for any queries, or if you want to discuss something, we're always available. So any last thoughts?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Vartika, just click their end meeting.
Yeah.